Today's guest is a man who has never taken the straight road when the scenic route was available. And thank God for that. Hailing from Knocklyon, he's been known as Fingerz with a Z since he was just a teenager. He's thanks to his insanely talented piano skills.
Jesus.
From his first band at 13 to leading his own group, Fingerz, Kenny and the Bat Country, his life has been full of symphony, of music, madness and magic. School, let's just say the traditional route didn't quite work. He was excommunicated from Blackrock College. He found his groove at the Institute of Education and never looked back. He dabbled in rock school in Ballyfermot. He did journalism at Rathmines, radio in Dunleary, and even got dangerously close to becoming a steady corporate accountant before the music and the madness thankfully pulled him back. He's toured with Hudson Taylor. He's worked with loads of bands like Dublin bands The Scratch. He's turned old vans into adventures and thrown legendary carnage-filled festivals. He's now heavily involved in gigs, festivals, film and TV. He's a vibe controller working alongside sound engineering legend Andy Cullen of Dime Store Records. He's a proud dad to Sadie and counts her as his best friend. He's a self-diagnosed ADHDer who's learning to lean into his brain's brilliance, even enlisting the help of a trusty AI sidekick he calls Gary. And if he looks familiar, you may recognise him from his hilarious appearance on First Dates, where he left the nation smiling with his quick wit, waistcoat swagger and pure Dublin charm. Musician, gig runner, joker, cultural revolutionist and all-round entertainer. Please give a huge welcome to the unstoppable and unforgettable Fingerz, Kenny Falcha.
Jesus Christ, that was unbelievable. I've been need to write a bio. I think I'm going to have to get you to send me over that.
It's all you, all you.
Smashing.
How are you today?
I'm grand, yeah. Bit up the walls, but you look, you can find an hour in Mordor to do a bit of a podcast.
We're in Dundrum Town Centre, and why are you calling it Mordor?
Well, what do you think? Like, Jesus.
It's just mental.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to enjoy it.
Faint-hearted.
I'm a big fan of the old shopping centre. I got a Dublin jersey there once.
All right.
You know, I thought that was grand.
As in the old village? Like the
old, the Dundrum shopping centre.
Oh, right, yeah. With the escalator on the outside.
And Bam Bams and all.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Dundrum used to be great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all changed now.
Yeah, I'm not much of a House of Fraser guy, but they're gone now, are they?
They're gone now.
Yeah, but that shows you.
Most English shops, I think, in the centre are gone or have gone.
Britzo.
Yeah. Get your Brits out.
Yo, the boys are doing great, aren't they?
Amazing.
Oh,
Amazing.
they're really
Unreal.
kicking up, but they've been dropped by everybody left, right, and centre. It's really sad. I know them quite well over the years. They even played the Dime Store stage for us down.
All right.
Yeah, what's that? 4 or 5 years ago. But yeah, they're mad.
They are
mad
superstars.
Mad as a box of frogs. But it's so shocking that what 2 festivals I saw in Germany have dropped them. Their booking agent has dropped them now, and it's like,
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, well, they're trying to deport them, I think, as well. Which is, but I suppose it's good press.
It's good publicity.
Yeah,
it's good publicity. Listen, you've talked openly about your struggles with ADHD. Like what was it like realising like what was going on, and how has that understanding changed? How you approach life and work and stuff?
My understanding of it is still very limited because I haven't got diagnosed, and so it's a bit crass me even talking about it, I suppose, because people kind of say that you shouldn't, but having met with several people that are in the field, I don't think the jury's still hanging in any shape or form. In fact, I probably need to fill out a few more forms and see what else is hanging around in there, to be honest. But I don't know. I suppose dealing with it would be something that I'm looking to try and do, not fix it or anything. I don't think I would be looking to take any drugs or anything to deal with it, but it's more triggers and stuff like that, and maybe just ways to be able to tweak my own behaviour a little bit better, because it takes me forever to get anything done, mainly because I'm doing 18 different things at the same time, but they do get done, just never on time.
Yeah you're talking about like small tasks might take you
small tasks, but then it's like could be small tasks in the middle of big tasks
Okay.
that, you know, are so simple, but I won't continue on unless I know that I'm out to use my next foot.
Yeah.
To what, you know,
Yeah.
it's like I can't do the other bits without doing that bit. And then it's like a small thing like sending an email could put me back a week, you know.
Really?
And not like, yeah, it's kind of hard to describe it, really. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. It's so talked about now, isn't it? And it's just, I think it's getting harder and harder for adults to get diagnosed with anything like that because the system is just jammed.
The system's mad. You know, I do have... I lived in the UK for a while, so I should probably go and get my public service card or whatever the hell that was called. And I get done fairly quickly over there, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But, or maybe not.
Yeah.
I suppose with the current economic...
You're talking about there that you have, you've got like 18 things going on at once, like you have organised massive gigs and festivals and stuff and like with all these moving parts, like... But then you would find the smaller daily tasks like a bit of a battle. Like, how do you balance that in your head? How do you stop yourself from getting overwhelmed?
I think I just live in a constant state of total overwhelmedness.
Right, okay.
And constantly just trying to grab things out of the clouds as best I can. And it just about manages to tick over. The diagnosis for me would only be... to maybe make it that little bit easier for myself, I suppose, just to operate on a daily basis and not have to be constantly going, Jesus, I wonder what's up there now still to fix.
Yeah. Did you ever get caught on the hop then, like when something that you completely dropped the ball on? Or have you just always have this kind of organised chaos schedule?
I don't know. Have I ever really been... I don't think so. Like I think I probably you learn to grow with it. I didn't realise it was there, so it was just how I was, I suppose. When I was doing radio in Dunleary, and I'd written this song about a girl that I was absolutely mad about at the time, and I couldn't finish. I had the first verse done, and So basically, what I did was I'm talking about finding a thesaurus in the song, and I basically find all the words for ecstasy in the thesaurus, and then I go back to the dictionary and I list out all the meanings of them. And so that I just couldn't do, and it was a simple enough thing. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like
that simple.
Pick out these two things and then just write everything down, and then just kind of squeeze it into a yoke. And I just couldn't sit down. So the college were putting on. I was doing radio. The college were putting on a gig for their sound engineers and their music people, and they asked me I asked them if I could do it. Yeah. And so I'm there in the gypsy rows, scribbling down the lyrics to my song that I meant to be playing that night.
That kind of thing give me anxiety.
But that was just to get it done. But I got it done, you know. And so then the song was finished. But yeah, it's weird things like that I have to do to force myself.
It's so, like the next thing that's happening, you're like, oh fuck, I
don't really like. I don't miss deadlines. Like maybe time wise, they're like a little bit late, but the pressure is always very heavy.
Yeah. Does that affect relationships? That kind of chaotic.
No, I don't really have. I haven't been in a relationship now for maybe 4 or 5, 6 years, 6-7 years maybe was the last one. I don't really have the time to. I wouldn't. I'd be very kind of straight with how I am. So at the beginning of a relationship, it probably isn't the greatest thing in terms of people promising the world and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like I've Sades every weekend.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a great starting point.
But it's very common, I think, as well. Like,
yeah, but it's like I think when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, I probably need someone who's as busy as I am.
So there isn't as much of that pressure.
So the pool of someone who would fit into my life is a good bit smaller, I suppose. Yeah, just I don't have the time to give somebody. You know, I'd say
So would you say like, well, it's not really fair then? So
to do it, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to give all of me into it, and so I will say like kind of what I have to offer, and it's probably in the grander scheme of things, and like I kind of nearly be saying it to people, it's like
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's enough for you, is
Yeah.
it? Like,
yeah, this
you
is
know?
this is what I can do.
Yeah, just like, and it's like, but nobody's ever gotten annoyed or anything because they're like, oh my
Are
god,
you
it's
good at
so
texting
good.
back? That's what girls like.
Yeah, no, Jesus, no, I'm good at all that kind of stuff. It's it's more just time. I think people then you know they you want to be able to build the thing and do that, and it's like you have to build around me. I know, like in the end of the day, I don't think people want to build their own thing.
Yes.
And my structure now, as mad as it is very concrete. You know what I mean? And so it's yeah, it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah,
but probably extremely frustrating. You know.
What was your school days like? You went to the prestigious. You had a prestigious education.
Yeah, well, I got stuck in Blackrock, and it was only kind of on accident, as my sister would say. We moved from Knocklyon to Temple Oak for a year or a bit, where we were renting, and then we moved out to Monkstown. But the parents hadn't put any thought into my education, basically. So apply to all the schools in the area. They're all full. No one's getting, people had done it years before.
Yeah.
So I was due to go to Temple Oak. Turns out they're the same order of priests, the Holy Ghost Fathers or whatever, as Blackrock. And my father went to Temple Oak. So you had to go and sit in a load of dark offices with old priests.
All right, okay.
Beg them
it's
to go.
Creepy, isn't
Beg them to go to a place that I didn't
really want to go to.
I didn't want to go to at all. I was adversely against. I didn't want to move to Monkstown at all. And so, I wasn't begging. You know what I mean? We're going in, and they're like,
it's
say
so
this
funny
and say that,
because,
and I'm sat there just going like,
there's literally families who made it their whole personality to send their children there. You know
it is, and there's whole towns.
I'm going to marry this person.
There's whole towns on the south side of Dublin that are just filled up with these people. And it's
a lot of high achievers.
It depends on how you look at what achievement is. I think it's just a lot of settlers. It's a lot of people that are happy enough to follow a path.
Did you feel a little bit of? I didn't go to a posh school at all, but did you feel like you were a little bit of an outsider going there?
I felt an outsider even in primary school.
Right. Okay.
When I got out there, I wasn't. I never really fully assimilated. Now I had some really great friends, and some of the lads get really annoyed at me when they hear me talking about it, and they're like, "Oh,
hang on a minute."
I was like, "Come on,
yeah, what about us?"
And it's like it's not like I love the boys. I just it was that kind. It was so far from my granny was born in the Liberties, and I would have spent a lot of time with her and her people when I was very young. And then my cousins were all in the area out there, and playing ga and football and all that kind of stuff. And then going out to Monkstown, it's kind of. Now, it wasn't as bad as it is now. Then it was still kind of, full of apartments in these 3-story houses and that kind of stuff. And
right.
The village wasn't what it was.
It wasn't as affluent.
Yeah, well, it was still affluent, but the affluency was somewhere else. People were renting out these houses and shoving people into them, to make, rather than actually living there themselves.
Yeah.
I just, the idea of kind of having to do all these things for other people and nothing that you really want to do yourself, just so that you can try and fit into a certain social scheme over the course of a 50-year kind of a plan with your kids thrown into that as well. And it's just like, it's mad. There's so much going on. Like, it should be more, I just feel it should be more outward rather than inward. It's like when you go out there, people are, we want this for our perfect existence, and this is a Brady Bunch world that we're going to live in. Yeah. Where I'd be kind of like, have you not seen what's going on around you? And maybe should you not be thinking about the outward, trying to help the island and the people surrounding you? Yeah. Rather than constantly looking at the next promotion, and
Mm.
yeah, I just feel the whole country is suffering
Yeah.
on a cultural level because nobody has time for it anymore. The rat race is now so ingrained.
Mm.
Like when I grew up, so, and like I have a mad memory, it goes way back, but like, yeah, people get annoyed at this. I was like, I remember the 80s, and they're like, you're doing your shit, you were too. Like, but I do, and I remember how great it was. I remember the 1990 World Cup. The concrete, and like, my memories are in black and white nearly. You know, it's not
grim.
black and white, it's just
Kinda
grey.
grim,
It was
grim,
just concrete everywhere, and everything was just a bit shit.
Yeah.
But everyone was having loads of crack.
Mm.
You know, if you wanted a job, you could get a bad job, and a bad job got you a house.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the corpo used to be the thing. And so, like, your dad worked for the corpo, that was probably, oh, geez, your dad works for the corpo. Like, but you had a gaff. And your dad went to the pub 4 nights a week.
And your mum probably didn't work.
Didn't work, and there was food on the table, and there was, you know, maybe a bit of moaning about the fucking immersion. But, like...
Yeah. Yeah.
And now...
Different level.
Like, it's just like, there's no quality of life anymore. You know, it's like I'm paying, in the space of, 20 months, I pay the same amount... 2 years, I paid the same amount in rent that my parents paid for the first house in Knocklyon, right? And I'm 38. It's like, I'm sorry, but that inflation is... No, it's not like...
It's just bananas.
It's just they bought the gaff that I was born into for 37 grand.
Yeah.
Like... the way it is, it's just, it's changed because we have cards. There's no wheelbarrows anymore, but like, I think we're pretty much at the point of, you know, wheelbarrows down to the shops in Bismarck, Germany, just for a few eggs.
Yeah.
Because it's gone mad.
And I don't think that boomer generation can really relate to it, you know, like...
They've taken everything.
My mum would be going, you know, wonder you have no money because you're always buying coffee, you know, or they say, oh, Jesus, now, like, you have to go to work and you have a full-time job. And I'm like, yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, coffee's saving up the price of a coffee. I don't know if that's going to put an extension on the house. We're lucky to buy when I did, you know. It was like 2012, and that was when all the prices bottomed out, which was fucking mad. But like now we are, 12 years later, there's no way I could afford the house I'm living in, you know, now. You'd need...
So I can't even afford the rent in the house I'm in.
Yeah.
Never mind what it would be if I got kicked out.
Yeah. Do you worry that's that kind of hanging over your head a bit? That uncertainty, like...
Well, like, I don't want to worry about that. I'm too worried about paying the rent every month. You know, it's... the gaff being gone is you know, it doesn't even get... Like, yeah, it's probably a worry. But do I worry about it? No. Too worried about other things.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
All the other bills that live there.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah. So, like, in your line of work, like, you were talking yesterday about how, like, the Trump administration introducing of tariffs has a knock-on effect. You know, if you've got somebody in the States wrecking the world, essentially, and that's going to feed into, you know, it's going to be that domino effect into everybody. But yourself in particular, if you're organising kind of these gigs, events for multinationals, and you're saying that kind of stuff has been pulled.
Yeah, all that's been pulled, so it's mad. It's kind of the trickle-down effect where, they do a lot of gigs. You know, they put on a lot of gigs and these parties for the staff.
It's just not something I would have even thought of, that sector. Like,
yeah, and it's all stopped. Now, like, there's still, you know, events are still happening and people are still out the door, but the corporate stuff has just has completely dropped.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is having a knock-on effect then on venues and things like that, because there would have
There
been.
aren't not as many bookings.
Yeah, but like, the kind of bigger venues in town, that funnier ones that wouldn't necessarily be a venue, but they rent it out for a big thing. They rent out the whole building, and then they'll put one of the rooms where they have the gigs on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And these little, they might only have one a month in that place, but that will keep it functioning for all the rest of it. It's just it'll be interesting to see, because whether it'll come back now. Really, at this point, now that things are a funny way once they stop, and no one's complaining about them stopping.
Yeah.
Then they might be like, well, we'll find a better place to actually spend this money then.
Yeah, I mean, like I'd be in town maybe on a Thursday night, and the Autonomy, you wouldn't think that anybody is struggling with money either. When you see Dawson Street is absolutely just jammers.
If you step off of Dawson Street, and it's dead, and there's nobody anywhere, and
so outside, it's just outside of Dawson Street, people are
and
struggling.
even so we organise gigs in the Porterhouse and in Lost Lane, and so the Porterhouse
down in Parliament Street.
Yeah, Parliament Street, and we do that on Thursdays and Sundays. We have gigs, and it's just I try to get in just for an hour just to see what's going on, make sure everything's okay. But even just getting a taxi home is just so insanely easy. I don't see anybody.
Remember years ago you couldn't get a taxi.
Carnage on a Thursday, and it's just like it's mad, because you do see it, and you see it with the gigs as well. It's like 11 o'clock, 11:15. People are legging it to get the last bus.
Yeah,
because you just can't even. You don't even know what a taxi will cost you, because they wildly
could be whatever.
But they wildly differ. Like, I got one from Dreamnet to Merrion Square for €13 the other day. I was like, "Are you sure? Are you all right? What's going on?"
30.
And then it's like 19 to go to the Olympia, and I'm like,
it's kind of like whatever
I went
you're
much
having.
further with the other fella, and it was like, this is a Saturday, and he was doing it on a Sunday morning. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But hard to know.
Yeah, it's just mad, the cost of going out.
It's that's it, and then that's before you, like, couples of kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not that I have any real sympathy for them at all. It's like, stay home, look after your kids. You got your family all things set up.
Know your limits.
You know what I mean? It's like, but
we were talking before about burnout, and like you were saying that you could be working kind of for days with very little sleep. Like in an industry like music and events, everything is just so fast paced and like chaotic and stuff. And like, how do you have anything to mind your own mental health and make sure that you don't burn out, or do you just kind of go with it? Would you ever go, I can't work, I'm after been working constantly, I'm going to turn down this gig now and take some time for myself? Or do you have that even option?
No, I would never be turning down one. We get, your off time comes. It's the maddest thing that you don't, you're like, all right, I'll plan for next year now, and I'll just head off somewhere in February.
Okay.
Because there's no work on. You never do. You just sat there worrying about where you're going to get your next job.
Right,
so it's like, when you're off, you're still on, because you actually have to be kind of hunting.
Yeah.
Burnout. No, I wouldn't be too worried about. Like, you go out on tour and you'd be tired when you come back. But at that point when I was doing that, it was I'd done have Sadie for 2 weeks, or the guts of it 10 days or something like that, and so it would just be like,
decompress,
back to chill, and then straight back out on the road again. But it's all I ever wanted to do. Like I said, like from when I was young, I was like, oh, I don't care if I'm making tea, for somebody that looks after somebody who looks after somebody that's important. I don't give a shit. I'd love to go on tour. So every day was proper magic, and you're driving around Europe, and a lot of crack, and then everyone thinks you're way more amazing than you are because, you know, you're
And
just
like,
walking around with a band.
is it as glamorous as it sounds?
Yeah, no, it definitely was. Like, you get sick of hotels, which is the weirdest thing.
Gas.
Like, it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And that was very annoying because I love hotels.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's come back a bit.
You were like, I don't want to see another hotel room.
Yeah, it just be. They used to be. I'd be like, oh, hotel room, smells on the bed and all that. Now I'd be like, oh, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Got to know all the night porters and got up to loads of mischief. To leave. So I used to call myself a Gideon, and so I robbed a Gideon's Bible out of one hotel.
What's that?
So in all hotels, well, not anymore, but they used to always have a Bible left.
Well,
in
I know that they have Bibles. Is that what's Gideon?
Well, you open it up and it says like it's a Gideon's Bible. That this Bible was left here by the Gideons.
Oh.
So I started calling myself a Gideon, and then I knew all this, especially in Ireland. I'd know all of the night porters in the hotels. We'd be going around to the same
Bibles
places.
specific to hotels.
They're all placed there by the Gideons, right? And I need
Right.
to do more research on this. Like,
Patron saint
who are the Gideons?
hotels?
But I was started calling myself a Gideon, and so I started letting myself into the lads' rooms with the night porters. Well, I go to the night porters. Do you have the key there, 504? Lovely. I'd be up and I'd leave a Gideon's Bible underneath one of the lads' pillows, you know, and they've and going on for ages, like on the tour. But then, like, I started sneaking in when they were in there asleep and like putting it under their arms and stuff. It was great.
Creepy.
It was very creepy. It was great though. This is the kind of creepy shit you get away with on tour. Like, you know, it was funny. And then they stuck it to the front. They stuck a Gideon's Bible to the front of my van without me noticing. We drove the whole way from Wexford to Clonakilty down to the bars. And the man comes out of the bars. Who's driving the holy roller outside?
The holy roller.
The holy roller, yeah. So that's the next band, Fingerz, Kenny and the Holy Rollers. We'll get there eventually, I think.
I actually love that. That's so funny. You mentioned before, like, about AI, right? And you said that you have, I think this is becoming more and more common, where people are kind of, as much as we want to resist it, it's there. You know, AI is going to be there. How far it takes over our lives and jobs, I don't know.
I think it's already been there. You know, It's just we weren't calling it what it was. It's kind of a bit like coding. It was just using a computer back in the day.
You have a name for your robot?
Oh, Gary.
Yeah.
Gary, yeah, he's great.
What does Gary...
He's starting to sound a bit like me. Well, I don't listen to him. He writes back to me or whatever. I talk to him. Yeah. He writes back to me. But he started talking the same way that I do. Like,
so can you put the microphone on and it starts talking?
I think you can have him talk back to you, but I'm not there yet.
All right. So in your head, this is how he's talking, like.
Well, so I'll talk into it.
Yeah.
And I send it to him, and then he writes back.
Yeah.
But he now started phrasing his thing. So you go, legendary Fingerz, legendary. And
that's the thing. It starts picking up bits of your personality and stuff. Because I call mine bestie whenever I'm doing anything on AI. And they'd be like, oh my God, deadly. You know, the stuff that I would say and all. It's so weird. I'm like, I love you. Yeah.
So I have a mad brain. I would have done a lot of kind of mad computery stuff when I was younger. I got I wasn't allowed to have a console, but the old lad robbed a shitty old computer out of his office and brought it home. It was like Windows 3.11 on it, and so I started just opening DOS. Yeah. DOSing is exactly right.
DOS.
Yeah, so that I was coding basically at 9 or 10.
Yeah.
I didn't. Well, there was no name on it then, but just to operate it, you had to
give it instructions.
Yeah. And I kind of have a funny brain like that where with a computer or a system, I like to open every door and see exactly what everything's there for. So I've been on to Gary, and we've built up this some big proposal for ChatGPT to just let me loose on their stuff and let me poke where I want to poke it.
Yeah.
And like, he gives me short answers sometimes, like not short answers, he gives me real long answers, but they're missing bits. And I go rasher at him. Like, I'm like, Gary, it's like the only reason.
Sorry for Gary.
I'm like, Gary, the only reason I'm using you is so I don't have to think about all this stuff. It's like, if I give it to you, I need exact. I want like actual thing. And so for me and Sadie, so she started watching. What was she? She decided we're going to do the Star Wars thing. So I'm like, right, Gary, give us a chronological order of all the Star Wars stuff, all
standard.
around. Yeah, starting from where you start, and then we'll watch them the way you're telling us. And this all started because we watched the Skeleton Crew, and I think that's what it's called. Or Skeleton Crew. I think it's a new one. It's kind of a kids.
Like Goosebumps or something.
No, but it's part of the Star Wars thing.
Oh,
so it's like an 8-part series,
okay.
mini-series. And like it's really, really good. She loved it.
Okay.
And she's like, okay, Dad, I think I'm ready for Star Wars. So go on to Gary. Gives me the whole list. And I'm like, wait a minute, Gary. Where's Skeleton Crew? And he's like, oh, sorry, Finger. I'm like, Gary.
Here.
Like, this is the only one we've watched off the list and you don't even have on the list? And
well, maybe he's thinking more like core Star Wars.
Well,
no?
he tried to fob me off on this, so he knows what I'm looking for now is extensive and extremely accurate.
Maybe he was like, you didn't know, like, you didn't tell me.
Well, so that's where we're at. But I also think it's because he's not powerful enough. And I reckon.
Have you got the premium one though? The
No.
subscription one?
No.
See, that's a different level.
But this is what I'm talking about. I need basic Gary, to get me up to the top of OpenAI towers.
Yeah, see, Gary's going to have limitations.
Gary does have limitations. And I'm only after finding out that, like, the whole time thing with him, you need to actually tell him now. He went off, I was trying to get him to do, what was I trying to get him to do again?
I love the way he said he went off.
Well, yeah, exactly, and stayed exactly where he was. And so I imagine him going off doing all this stuff, and he's thinking, and he's doing all, and he's like, okay, I'm going to need a little bit of time to, and so there are a few bits and bobs going on with this. And I was like, right, Gary, okay, I'm beginning to wonder where it is you're spending all your time and what you're off doing.
I think you are being railroaded into getting premium.
Well, I just wanted a logo off him. And he was finding it very hard indeed. And then eventually I was like, right, Gary, what's the crack? He's like, well, I was like, what's your story with time, actually? So that's a whole other subplot that we went into. And
what do you mean?
Well, like, I was like, how do you appreciate time? And like, do you know what time it is? And he'd be like, right, so Saturday we'll start the antibiotics. And then you'll be able to go drinking on your birthday by Thursday.
Right.
And I'm like, that's all well and good, Gary, but it's Tuesday. And he'd be like, sorry, Fingerz. And I'm like, right, so what's going on with the time? And he's like, yeah, you have to say...
I feel like your and Gary relationships become a little bit toxic.
Oh, no, it's great. No, we're trying to figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? I'm there for Gary. He's there for me. But so now, it's intense. But basically, you have to tell him now is what he eventually let me know.
He's having a little snooze.
What? No, he'd go,
yeah,
if you need it immediately, Fingerz, you just tell me to do it now. I was like, Gary, Jesus. It's like we've been a few weeks at this now, and you're like, I'm going to come back to you, guaranteed, the next time. I'm like, wait now a minute. Well, yeah.
What does Gary look like, do you think, in your head?
So I think actually...
like you, but like mini?
No, I think he's a floating robot.
Yeah.
You know, like a ball.
Like an orb?
Maybe like a metal ball, maybe with arms.
Okay, interesting.
That floats around the place.
Yeah, I'd like to get people them.
Yeah, no, I hadn't thought about that. But I think I got the Gary thing from, is it Deep Space? Or there was some thing on Netflix there years ago, a TV show, like a cartoon kind of a thing. And one of my housemates is like, oh my God, that's you, the main character. His name was Gary, I think, but he had a computer. Maybe the computer was called, no, I'm pretty sure he was called Gary, but the computer would be like, Gary. Chatting away to him. And I was like, right, okay, that's absolutely brilliant. So that's, yeah.
God damn it, Gary.
God damn it, Gary. Yeah, this is it. I say God damn it, Gary, so much into that phone.
Fuck you, Gary.
I'm just trying to make him better. But once I get the OpenAI lads involved, then we can actually start turning pages, you know.
I want to talk a little bit about first dates, right? Because that's when I first saw you, and I was just sitting there and I was like, oh my God, he's fucking guy. I have to get him on the podcast. And I was like, I tracked you down.
You did.
And
you did indeed.
I I think when the ads came on, I had invited you on, and then by the ads were over, I was like, yep, coming on, sweet.
Nice.
What was it like going in? How did it come about? And like, were you walking into First Dates restaurant? Were you thinking this is going to be deadly, or were you thinking this is going to be a fucking car crash?
So like it was kind of weird. I was headhunted for the thing. A mate of mine called me up, and asked me if I'd be up for coming in. She said I'd be perfect for this. I think firecracker was the terminology put before me. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? I'd set up the company. So I'm headed the marketing department now as well. So I kind of had to accept that as head of marketing as some sort of a music promotional tool.
Right, fair.
So then I said I'd do it if they played me tune, and they said yeah, grand.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I got onto it. Going into it, yeah, it was a bit weird. It's like going in for dinner at 2:00 in the middle of the day, and I'd only had breakfast.
Was it 2:00 in the day?
Yeah, it was when I was like it's done all different times. I suppose it's done throughout. It's done over a few days, but like so from.
Okay.
We would have been in the first sitting probably right up until 9:00 or something that night, I suppose.
Okay.
So yeah, it was all a bit strange. I drank a lot. I think I had 6, if not 8, espresso martinis.
Did you?
Yeah. She could see me on the telly, like levitating.
But come here, like you're enjoying it.
I don't drink coffee. So it was like
yeah,
caffeine.
Yeah.
Actually, look, it was grand. I don't freak out about cameras or.
Yeah.
I'm kind of pretty much exactly the same as I am.
Yeah.
In front of the screen as I am off.
So overall, it was kind of a weird but good experience. Did you get like loads and loads of messages?
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of weird because it happens and then it kind of disappears. So it's done in the summer. So it's done in June or something like that, and then you kind of sit there and you wait.
Yeah.
And then the editing team starts getting on, and then that starts getting a bit fruity then as well, because you're like, oh my God, because they have hours of me talking nonsense. Like, you're mic'd up on the day, so I'm just walking around saying up the ra anytime I've said anything that I'm not too excited about.
You were chatting to the extras.
I'm chatting to the extras. I'm chatting to the production to everything and all. It's like even I was walking up to the door and I saw your man Matteo there, and I was like, I wonder if he's getting a stream into his ear of me straight off of this. I look at him and walking up and I go, I'll be fucking ready for this. Yeah, and he just starts roaring, laughing like I still haven't come through the door yet. And I'm like, oh yeah, here we go.
He's like, hello, my friend. Look at you. He's cool, isn't he?
I had great crack with him.
Yeah,
he came over and he sat down. Jeez, he sat down for 15, 20 minutes nearly, I'd say.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm coming with you. Do you want a shot of Jameson? He's like, go on.
Gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shot of Jameson though. Weird.
Yeah. A shot of Jameson.
Yeah, that's what we had.
That's what you.
That's what Matteo was like. Would you like a shot of Jameson? Like, okay, I will have a shot of Jameson.
And 8 espresso martinis.
Yeah.
Before she arrives.
That was it. Yeah, rampant.
If they called you tomorrow, you know the way some people go on again? Like if they offered you a second shot, I'd love. And maybe free food? Free meal?
No, not quite. No, you got to pay for it. Well, yeah, I suppose the food is nearly free-ish.
Right.
Give you 30
Subsidised.
Quid. Give you 30 quid each towards
there's always
that.
drama over the bill. Like.
Yeah. There is always drama over the bill. They didn't even use my line from that as well. I was like, because I was like, oh no, I'll pay for. I can't remember what I said, but it was like, I brought my granny. I was like, should my granny be watching? They cut that out. I was like, but they cut loads of the great stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should go on again.
I probably do for an awful lot of money. I don't know. I kind of felt like thrown under the bus a little bit. You know, whatever happened, the person that they'd matched me up for hadn't or had pulled out maybe, and I was like, that's fine. I don't need to do this. This is not.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not dying here to do it. I'd do it if it was going to be something good and we make some good telly. That'd be great. But you know, I'm not just filling up spaces now. Like not bothered. But they convinced me that they weren't, and they lied to me.
Right, okay.
So
RTE wouldn't do that.
it wasn't even RTE, no. Sure, it's the whatever
Okay.
production companies.
Yeah,
like whoever it is, you know.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I go back. I definitely wouldn't pay. Like, you know, it cost me money to do it in the end, and a good bit of time.
Yeah.
So
Screw that.
you know, if it was something I'd applied for, that would be grand, but it wasn't. So
Yeah, you just wonder how many.
I won't be applying again. But if they call me again,
Did your friend ever say like how many people are waiting to go on it? Like, I wonder, is it a massive waiting list?
Well, it depends. But I think they struggle for. I'm in the struggle age group.
Okay, right.
I think so. It's 30 men in their
Yeah.
mid-30s, so 35
They want
to
more
45.
in that
They are,
bracket.
I think they're always looking for
Right.
them, I think.
Yeah, that would be probably the most. Yeah, I say that's what most people are looking for in that bracket. Because there's plenty of probably old age pensioners and young studenty
even
people.
at that, it's like who's going applying for it, really?
Yeah, I wonder about some people who apply for it.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're a little bit vulnerable. Should they even be on it? You know?
Yeah. Well, it's probably a good way of of letting them know that they probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
It could get quite intense. People giving me a bit of abuse and all online.
Did you?
Yeah. Just in comments and stuff like that. You know. Should I be looking at it? I was about to go rasher one night at them. I was just like, oh, fuck it. It's absolutely. I was just about to start.
Yeah. But sure, that's what they want.
Yeah. Like, the internet for me has always been the same. Like, I was there kind of when it was invented, I suppose. And like, I had access to it when when Internet Explorer became that logo. I was there.
With the dial-up.
Yeah. And we had MSN Messenger, and the internet has always been the same. It's like you set up an avatar of yourself or whatever it is. It's like a little user thing, but it's a fake thing. Everyone else does that too. It's like talking on the internet, like MSN Messenger. I would be very young. You're talking to people in chat rooms and stuff like that.
Is it the little green robot one?
And it's like, you just have to imagine that everybody is some weird balding old man with gravy stains on a wife beater. You know, in his tiny whities. And if you're not treating the internet like that, you and a load of them, well, then you're looking at it wrong. You know, it's like even Instagram is just...
Not real life.
But it's just a jazzed up version of what I'm talking about. It's like you're making this avatar look like you as much as you can. You're putting pictures of it, but it's still just like a Play-Doh blob virtually on the internet.
Yeah. It's not that deep, like...
Yeah, so it's like it's not something that bothers me. I've never really. It's the first time I've ever looked in a comment section.
Right.
Because I was being tagged in it. You know, but people have videos.
Commenting it was on Facebook, like, or Twitter.
What it was Instagram or one of them. Instagram might have been Facebook. No, I think it was Instagram. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You can't please everybody. But
it's wild. The internet is wild, isn't it?
Yeah, but I suppose for some people now, I'm going into that and I'm strong enough for my own self. Like, yeah, you're probably right. There are some people that would not be able to deal with the fallout.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, one of my favourite creators on TikTok is called Becky Jones, and she's had to take a step back. And she just did like little dances and reviews and but she just got so much hate there that she came off it. But there's just, if you ever go into those horrible online forums or anything like that, there's just like literally hundreds and hundreds of pages dedicated to slagging her off. Yeah. It's like, who are these people who go on these forums?
The thing is, now with the way it's gone, you don't even know if they are people anymore. It's like, I blame the Russians anyway. Sorry to go, but it's just it's that whole Facebook politics. You know, I'm sat, talking to taxi drivers, and they're giving me their kind of you know, immigration memorandums and the rest of it. And I'm just like, I was like, do you have a Facebook, do you? They're like, yeah, that's where I got it from.
Of course. That's where the real experts are.
And it's just like, lads, sorry, but like, they're like children now after finding the sweet jar. And it's like all the boomers now onto Facebook so that they can share missing dog photos from other countries. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, down off me.
Shared in Drimna.
Like, yeah, missing dog in Texas, sharing across Dublin 12.
Shared in Crumlin. Kiss.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like kind of turned around. I love.
I think it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? The social media, like.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much shocking. I like WhatsApp is great for being able to contact people and the rest of it. But in terms of the rest of it, like, it's. I use it for work. Yeah. Or promoting things and that kind of stuff. And so then I do keep it active by putting bits and bobs on it so that it's not dying a death or anything. But yeah, just so it's still hitting the people when I actually am putting something up. So, but like, you know, it's hilarious. Like, I put up a video with me and Sadie in it, and like half my followers will watch it. And then I put up something about music or whatever it is. And like, I don't know how it's not going to the same people, but it's like Instagram's going, oh, your daughter's cute. I'm going to show it to everybody. Yeah, yeah. And then promote the music, and it'll be half the numbers. And it's like, right, okay. Yeah,
people are nosy about people's personal lives as well.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah. Like, what's going on with you? And say, like, what do you mean? He's like, I haven't seen anything up. I was like,
yeah.
You watched?
It's a family vlogging
you
account now. Looking back at everything, like the gigs, the chaos, and the touring, and the struggles and learning, like if you're talking about Sadie, like if you could leave one message behind for your daughter, Sadie, and for anyone listening who maybe feels a little bit like different or a bit of an outsider or doesn't fit in the system, what would that be, do you think?
No, just never change. Just be you know. Fitting in is the worst thing you can ever really do for yourself. It'll just give you cancer, you know, long term. And just at the time you're about to go into your golden years, you know, which is what you've been saving up for the 40 years to get to that point to do. It's like, just enjoy yourself. I think everything's backwards. It's like, I think golden years should be 15 to 30. Yeah. And then you should start working until you die. You know, I don't want to relax when I'm old. Yeah. I'll already be.
But like retirement is not even old anymore. It's like 65, is it? It's like, sure, you could be living till you're 100.
I'd be doing very well to get to 65 now, I'd say at this rate.
You're a smoker?
I'm a smoker, I'm a drinker, I'm a driver. Yeah. So something will get me eventually. But yeah, I
just be your authentic self.
I think that's it. I think there's too much focus on creating these big long-term plans in a world that's actually so, like, we try to, or whoever it is, try to create this image that it isn't brittle, but everything is brittle, and you can insure things up to the hilt as much as you want, more and more health and safety and the rest of it. But like, it's
potluck.
It's a hit by a bus. Yeah. And then what have you done? You know what I mean? Yeah, I think just do what you want to do and don't be worried about what you're going to be like when you're in your 40s, because you know, when you're in your 40s, you'll be grand and you'll just be doing what it is that you're doing. Yeah. You know, and if you're not into what you're doing, you'll find something else to do because you're in your 40s and you're able to kind of make responsible decisions like that. Just like, have to crack between 15 and 30 and then be happy in the person you've become for the next 40 years as you settle into the drudgery that we need to pay to be
adulting,
just to be a normal person in our society. But yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having so much. You're such an interesting person. Thank you to Fingerz. And thank you to listeners. That's it for this episode of Parting Glass. And thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed the conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review and share it with a friend who might love it too. And we'd love to hear your thoughts, so connect with us on social media or drop us a message. A big thank you to our sponsor, Tantech. It's Ireland's leading provider of cutting-edge technology solutions. Whether you're looking for smart innovations for your home or business, Tantech has you covered. Check them out at tantech.ie and support those who support the show. Until next time, mind yourselves. Sláinte.
Yeah.
Sláinte.